Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Early Morning Crypto Talk. It's Monday morning. Bitcoin Brandon from Los Angeles, California. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule for being here. If you're here to learn something new, every day is a new teachable moment. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you're listening in from. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button on the YouTube channel. So we have Linda Reuter. Good morning. Barbara Brown, Vallejo. Shane West, Chicago. Tony Pinkston from Philly. Cynthia from Phoenix. Omar Jarrett from Connecticut. Good morning, Lorna Vasquez. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share a suggestion, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. Good morning, Shauna Ross, North Carolina. Moshe Frazier from Philly. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space to have success. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money that you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make that happen? What is your vehicle of choice? Make a decision, take action, stay focused, and do not get distracted. Now, following these rules is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here with the market cap. It's been a couple of days since I've done a crypto talk, so let's get caught up on some things. The market cap is at 176 billion. That is up since 172 billion last time I looked. The last 24 hours is up 1.8%. Bitcoin dominance is at 51.4%, so a lot of that money went to Bitcoin. Ethereum dropped below 10% and Ripple below 8%. So yeah, what went to Bitcoin. Bitcoin price is 51.52 as of now. I didn't check what's going on Poloniex here. So 24-hour high was 56. That's not right. 51.65. 24-hour low 50.59, and it's in the green. That's a little positive breakaway right there. See, best performers over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin Cash. I'm not surprised because I just saw a notice that Binance is delisting Bitcoin SV. That is Craig Wright's coin. And they had a 9% drop just off of that. So, of course, Bitcoin Cash, which is ABC, went up 17.7% over the last 24 hours. Ultrain had a 96% increase in the last 7 days. So you would have basically doubled your money if you had put anything on Ultrain. I don't know about Ultrain. I don't know about that coin. I'm not watching it. Tezos is up 7.8%. Litecoin is up 4.6%. And EOS 3.2%. See the worst performers. We've got Bitcoin SV. Wow, it's down 25% over the last 7 days. A little bit last hour, turnaround, 1.6% bounce. Don't know why, but it is. Huobi's down. Let's see, any top coin. Engine coin is down 5%. Electronium is down, negative 2.5%. Well, now it's at 0.0056. This coin just can't seem to bounce back up. Negative 15.4% decrease over the last 7 days. And I think it's because I don't think there's an ETN to BTC pair. I think that's why they're having a big problem. Lambda was up 113% over the last 7 days. All right, let's take a look at some of the news. Speaking of Bitcoin ASV, let's look at Craig Wright. This article says, Craig Wright is a fraud. Binance chief Changjing Zhao slams, not Satoshi. This is big news for Binance, because if Binance does it, you know what? The other coins are gonna follow suit. So let's see. Binance CEO Zhao, known as CZ, slammed Craig Wright as a fraud in an ongoing Twitter spat. Craig Wright, the driving force behind cryptocurrency Bitcoin SV, has long claimed he is the founder of Bitcoin and the man behind the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. Was Craig Wright drinking or something? You don't want to go into a spat with the dude who's in charge of the biggest exchange in the world. That's just silly. Don't bite the hand that's going to feed you. CZ says, masterpiece, you have my full support, Peter. To be clear, I don't choose sides on technology. We let market do that. I am against fraud, such as lying to be someone. As such, it is my strong opinion that Craig Wright is a fraud. I guess, Peter, my formal response to the letter issued by the lawyers of Craig Wright and Calvin Ayre. This was sent today. We look forward to resolving this quickly and efficiently. This isn't the first time CZ has called out Craig Wright. Last week, CZ threatened to delist Bitcoin SV from the Binance exchange after Wright dished out lawsuits against Twitter users. So an attack against one is an attack against all. CZ says, that was Bitcoin Magazine. CZ says, Craig Wright is not Satoshi. Any more of this stuff, we delist. Craig Wright, a Bitcoin fraud. CZ has accused Craig Wright and his accomplice, Calvin Ayre, of polluting the crypto community. I agree with this, by the way. By falsely assuming the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto and claiming Bitcoin SV is Satoshi's true vision. Wright is causing huge damage to Bitcoin, according to CZ. I agree. It's because of Craig Wright, the price of Bitcoin dropped from 6,000 to 3,000 back in November. That's my opinion. I believe that drop happened because of Craig Wright. CZ Binance, he says, the real Satoshi can digitally sign any message to prove it. This is as simple as breathing for him or her, and we have the pub key. Until then, everyone is Satoshi except Craig Wright. Lastly, anyone who supports BSV from a text perspective should be attacking the fraudulent Craig Wright, who is poisoning your community, and not attack the rest of the world. Anyone thinking Craig Wright is Satoshi should read about how a private key works, i.e. learn about crypto. Craig Wright, who rage quit Twitter in March, stirred up further anger in the crypto community by unleashing lawsuits on opponents. As Calvin Ayre's tweet below explains, Wright is taking legal action on those who publicly deny his claims to Satoshi Nakamoto's identity. How is that possible? How can you make a claim that you're Satoshi, not back it up, and then want to sue anyone who says you're not? You know, a little birdie told me what I always suspected, that Satoshi Nakamoto was not one individual, but a group of people that put this thing together. Calvin Ayre says, yep, Dr. Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto, and BSV is the only real Bitcoin. All others are attacking Craig to sell their dysfunctional snake oil crypto products. Craig has proven this to me directly in a number of ways. And then he says, Craig has started filing lawsuits against those falsely denying he is Satoshi. They can all have a day in court to try to prove their fake case, but the judge will rule that Craig invented Bitcoin because he did, and he can prove it. Prove it. Move some Bitcoin around from that one account that has 1 million Bitcoin in it. Move 1 Bitcoin. In fact, if I was Craig Wright, here's what I would do. I would say at 12:01 a.m. on such and such date, I will move 1 Bitcoin from this wallet address. That's what I would do, and then do it. Enough said at that point. The lawsuits aim to address targeted campaigns to harass and libel Wright with highly defamatory and abusive tweets. Among those targeted by Wright is pseudonymous Twitter user by the name of HODLNOT. As CCN reported, Wright threatened legal action and a $5,000 bounty to dox reveal the identity of HODLNOT. In response, some of the biggest names in crypto lashed out against Wright, probably Vitalik Buterin. He likes to call Wright out at events, conventions. Anthony Pompliano of crypto fund Morgan Creek called for every exchange to delist Bitcoin SV. Others, including Bitcoin Magazine, adopted the hashtag #WeAreAllHODLNOT, while a fundraising campaign launched to help the Twitter user counter the lawsuit. Every exchange should delist BSV simultaneously on May 1st in a sign of solidarity behind the only Bitcoin that ever mattered. This community is the responsibility of the people. Sometimes we must do the hard thing, not because it is easy, but because it is right. Another Twitter user, Peter McCormick, was also targeted by Wright. He issued a lengthy response to Wright's aggressive legal action. In his letter, retweeted by CZ, McCormick explains, Craig Wright is a fraud with the interest of protecting investors from investing money in his fake Bitcoin SV under the belief this is Satoshi's vision. This is definitely not, in my opinion, Satoshi's vision. His attempts to silence and bully people to protect his fraud and lies is an attack on Bitcoin. Peter McCormick says, my formal response to the letter issued by the lawyers of Craig Wright and Calvin Ayre. This was sent today. We look forward to resolving this quickly and efficiently. So the real Satoshi can digitally sign any message to prove it. Despite Wright's claim to be the founder of Bitcoin, he has never been able to publicly prove his claim. As CZ explains, the real Satoshi can digitally sign any message to prove it. Until he does so, the identity of Bitcoin's true founder remains a mystery. And you know what? Since we're on this article just came up while I was preparing for this morning. So I'm gonna see if I can find it, pull it up. Binance just delisted Bitcoin SV. So let me see if I can pull that article up. Here it is. Let's take a quick look at this. And I'll put the link in the chat box. This is why staying on top of crypto news is important, why I do this on a daily. What if I thought I was smart and knew everything, but I never checked the news and I got a whole bunch of money and I decide, yeah, I'm going to drop 5,000 on Bitcoin SV and I don't know what's going on in the news. It's a blow to Craig Wright. Oh, wait. Binance CEO Changpeng CZ has followed through with his threat, announcing that wait a minute, I own some Bitcoin SV on Binance. I need to check that out. That the exchange will delist Bitcoin SV. It's a blow to Craig Wright and a reflection of the animosity that has been building against the controversial creator of the cryptocurrency. Wright has been at odds with the vast majority crypto community on Twitter, threatening to pursue legal action toward people calling him a fraud. Incidentally, CZ is in the camp that Craig Wright is a fraud, adding to Binance's decision to delist the cryptocurrency. Meanwhile, CZ already hinted that he was getting tired of right attacks on Twitter. Now it's official. Binance announces delisting of Bitcoin SV. Do the right thing. Binance was the third biggest market for Bitcoin SV, the BCH SV USDT trading pair, with trading volume of more than $9 million in the last 24-hour period, according to CoinMarketCap. The Bitcoin SV price tanked in response to the Binance delisting. Support for Binance's decision to delist Binance SV poured in on Twitter. Got clapping going on. The story is still developing. So yeah, those of you that keep tabs on crypto news, want to watch this one, especially if you are large holders of Bitcoin SV. All right. Next story up, Bitcoin up. Storms back with 75% gains, cementing 2018 crypto bottom. All right. According to Peter Brandt, an experienced and widely recognized technical analyst, major crypto assets such as Bitcoin has recovered by more than 75% since 2018 lows. Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin have been the best performers in 2019, respectively rising by 383% and 350% against the US dollar from last year's lows. While many factors are said to have triggered the recovery of many cryptocurrencies, both industry executives and technical analysts generally believe that a bottom for crypto was reached in late 2018. I still don't believe in that, but hey. On Sunday, CCN reported that year-to-date, Bitcoin has outperformed the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 as one of the best performing assets following an 80% decline in price in the previous year. Throughout the past month, almost immediately after surpassing the $4,200 resistance level, which Bitcoin had struggled to test for over 3 months, Bitcoin has demonstrated strong momentum that also translated to solid performances for alternative cryptocurrencies. So I'll give you an example. For the last, what chart do I want to look at? Look at this by last 3 months. So March, February, I need to go further than that. Well, I'll go by the last year. All right, so if we look at the last year, you see this time period right here in November. This is when Bitcoin was about that $6,000 range. And then the Bitcoin Cash forked and split to Bitcoin ABC, Cash ABC, and Bitcoin SV. That was Craig Wright's doing, and it dropped all the way down to 3,000. We had a little bounce back up to the 4,000 range. Now here, for the last 3 months, it's been bouncing around this range between 4,200 to the bottom of, actually it got below this, 3,000, well here was at 3,100, but 3,300. So that 1,000-point range, it's bounced around for 3 months. Then all of a sudden in April, it shot up because it passed the $4,200 mark. And when it did, that resistance level, it shot up. Now, what that means is, when you look at this, the wall was at 4,200. Once it passed that wall, it slid all the way to where we are right now, at the $55,000 mark. What could happen again, and I don't know how long this would take, because it took 3 months for this to happen. It could have went either way, though. This bump up could have easily been a drop down below 3,000, which I believe is going to happen. It's going to go below 3,000 at least one more time before skyrocketing. but it had a bump up. So now what they're saying is it's hovering at this mark. The resistance level now is, scroll up. This is why it's important. You guys gotta be able to read the charts. It's the resistance wall is at 5186 to 5,000. So if it can pass 5,200, then it could slide all the way up like it did last time to 5,500, even all the way up to maybe 6,000, or this next wall right here, 6,000. It can slide up that wall. Now, the question is, if it does not do what I think it's going to do and drop back down to the mid 3,000 range and below, if it doesn't do that, the question is, how long will it bounce around in this mid area before it slides up to this mark? Because I don't think, in my opinion, anything could happen. I don't think we're going to, really pass 6,000 this year. So at this $5,000 range, it could stay and bounce in there for the next 4 or 5 months. And then correct, not go bullish. And I'm only expressing my opinion here. I think it's going to correct back to, give me the year chart again. It's going to correct back to this level by the end of this year. Why do I say that? Because I think that this drop was because of the wars between the Fork, Bitcoin Cash, Craig Wright, and the rest. So when you start seeing it going up, oh, we're back in a bull season. No, we're not. Not until we get to here. See, we were at the $9,000 range for a while, and then it dropped, bounced back up to 8,000, dropped, bounced. So this has been like you ever had a flat basketball and you're in PE class, you got the flat ball and you're trying to bounce it, and every bounce it goes lower, 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 lower. Call that the dead cat bounce. So I say to get back to 6,000 is not bullish. That's just a correction of where it should have been if we took away Craig Wright and all his nonsense. But to go from 6,000 and start going back up, then yeah, then I'll start saying, yeah, I think we're getting it back into that bullish range, because we also need to watch this number. This number needs to be at around 300 billion. Bitcoin itself needs to be, let's see, the market cap right now is at 91 billion. Bitcoin itself needs to be at 150 billion. And then getting close to 200 billion, 150, 175 billion before I say, oh, okay, I think a bull run's here again. And this is the only thing that I get wrong. That we, personally, and I pat myself on the back, I've been about 80 to 85% correct on my predictions. What I am not so keen on is the timetable, knocking that down. When? One time I was off by a matter of hours. It cost me a lot of money. Other times I'm off by days. One I'm off by a year. January 2018, I said 2018 will be the year of the altcoin. I didn't know that the market was being manipulated at that time. Bitcoin was still at like 15 grand. And I was wrong. 2019 is shown to be the year of the altcoins. So I was off by a year. This is why education is important. You got to be able to do your own research to know what's going on. Let me get back to this. So, cautiously optimistic regarding Bitcoin. On Sunday, CCN reported that year-to-date, Bitcoin has outperformed the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 as one of the best-performing assets following an 80% decline in price in the previous year. Throughout the past month, almost immediately after surpassing the $4,200 resistance level, which Bitcoin has struggled to test for over 3 months, Bitcoin has demonstrated strong momentum that also translated to solid performances for alternative cryptocurrencies. In the near term, some technical analysts are positive that the dominant crypto would be able to sustain its momentum, but remain cautious on its trajectory in a short time frame. It could be complete. I could be completely wrong and get stuck sitting by myself on the sideline. But it's my opinion we see another wipeout on alternative cryptos and BTC before we start trending. Didn't I just say that? I agree. Before we start trending onto new highs, sitting mostly in fiat, going into this week, waiting for opportunities to present themselves, one analyst said. What does that mean, sitting mostly in fiat? Here's what he means. And most of the big guys are doing this. They recognized in 2017 December and January of 2018 that the market was going bear. You know what they did? They sold, but they didn't sell and move that money into their bank accounts. They sold it into USDT, the stable coins like Tether. And they've been sitting there for a year, waiting for the bottom to hit. And when they feel the bottom has hit, they're going to move their coins out of Tether and move it back into Bitcoin. See, they still have their value of when Bitcoin was at 20,000. They never lost that value. That value. Now they're going to buy more Bitcoin than they had before and watch it rise back up and make even more money. That's what he's doing. That's what he says. So this is when I read that, and he says sitting mostly in fiat going into this week, waiting for opportunities to present themselves. Opportunities. What is he talking about? What opportunity is he waiting for? Well, he's waiting for this market price to drop below $3,000. That's what he's waiting for. And then he's going all in again. And then you're going to see this thing rocket all the way back up to 20,000. And they just doubled their value again. All right. Just by getting back to where it was when they sold, they doubled their money. And then they're going to ride the wave all the way. If I was at that point, I would probably sell 25% because I, get a profit. And then ride the sucker all the way up to 50,000. And then I will move it into Tether because it's going to correct right back down to the $20,000 range after it hits 50,000. No, it's a game. You got to know the game. You got to know the patterns. You got to know how to read the charts to make some somewhat accurate predictions on what's going to happen in the future. All right, let me continue. But others are more optimistic on the short-term price trend of Bitcoin. I'm conservative on this. I'm not the optimistic, rah-rah cheerleader guy that the sky is always going to be bright and sunny with no storms. I always act in the worst case scenario and then operate from that perspective. Anything that happens better than worst case scenario is like gravy. So, but others are more optimistic on the short term, expecting a similar movement as last week when BTC surpassed 5,400 to achieve a new high for 2019. It surpassed 5,400 for like 5 minutes and then bounced back down. One key metric investors could observe to evaluate the momentum of Bitcoin is the real volume of BTC calculated by on-chain FX based on the findings released by Bitwise that found only 10 exchanges had legitimate volume above $1 million. The daily spot volume of Bitcoin is estimated to be around 270 million. And throughout April, especially in the first week, the volume of BTC hovered above the $300 million level. Another well-known trader in the crypto community said, Bitcoin volume keeps holding reasonable levels and showing strength. In my opinion, we are on a channel continuation range, and the next target and hardest resistance will be 6,000. But before, I'm expecting a week or two of side range within the channel. I agree and disagree. I agree that we're going to get to that 6,000 resistance level. I don't know when. It could be months from now. I disagree that it's only going to be a week or two of side range. If it is only a week or two of side range, then I believe it's going to drop down, not up. That's my opinion. Generally, traders and technical analysts expect weakness in Bitcoin in the upcoming days and a strong recovery over the next few weeks, demonstrating cautious optimism towards the asset. In other words, in layman terms, what they say there, what they think is going to happen is that me move this to the last 3 days. So here's what they mean. It tested that $5,400 mark. Then it bounced down to 5,000 region, starting to creep on back up. It got up to 51.47 or 51.65, bounced down a bit. Here is 51.40, bounced down, came back up to 51.65, bounced down below the 51.20. So now it's kind of hovering here. People are a little bit cautious. Oh, it kind of hit high. Let me sell a little bit. Let me get some profit. All right, it didn't drop too far down, so let me buy again. All right, well, it dropped a little bit, but it didn't go too far. We're still above 5,000. I got 5 on it. All right, let me come back in just a little bit. So this is what they're saying, the cautious optimism, that as long as it doesn't bounce low, they're still putting money in it. That's what he's saying there. So since dropping to $31.22, Bitcoin has surged by 75%, and alternative cryptocurrencies like Litecoin have recorded gains above 300%. There exists a high probability that $3,122 was the bottom, at least in the medium term. For Bitcoin, because of fundamental catalysts that await, which could fuel the momentum of BTC, in 2020 of May, Bitcoin is expected to experience a block reward halving that would reduce the rate in which new Bitcoin is produced by 50%. If the demand for Bitcoin rises or remains the same, but the supply drops, it may cause the value of the asset to increase over the long run. Let me read that one more time. I need to process that. In 2020 May, Bitcoin is expected to halve, yeah. If the demand for Bitcoin rises or remains the same, but the supply drops, it may cause the value of the asset to increase. That's true. I agree with that. I agree, because the supply is going to drop, and the demand for Bitcoin is not going to drop. It's only going to rise, at minimum, remain the same. So if you want one thing that is almost a guarantee, you're going to see a rise in the price of Bitcoin May 2020. So if you know nothing else, like I could talk yesterday on my Facebook Live from USC. And I said, for those of you that have absolutely no crypto education whatsoever, one thing you can do now is start to accumulate Bitcoin based on your budget. Between now and May of next year, you will see a return on that, because by default, the value of Bitcoin is going to rise by default. So if you're that person that puts $50 or $100 in your savings account every week, I would suggest you put it into Bitcoin instead. You're going to see a much bigger return than the measly 1 or 2% sitting in your savings account for 1 year. That's insulting. I was in the bank, and the lady was like, yeah, Brandon, if you maintain $20,000 in this one account, you know, we could probably get you like 3%, 3 to 5% in 12 months. What? Wait, did I hear that right? So you want me to keep 20K and not go below, and my reward is going to be 3%, which is $600? Are you kidding me? She was serious. I'm like, I got to keep it in here for 12 months to make $600 on 20K? I don't think so. I think I can get a better return doing something else. But that's all people know. All right, last up, we're going to go with geopolitics. Geopolitics. North Korea. What is going on with North Korea? I'm reading a book right now called Edge of Apocalypse. Edge of Apocalypse. Talking about the end times, basically. Written by Tim LaHaye. You ever read the Left Behind series? Well, in this, the apocalypse starts with North Korea doing something stupid. All right. That's what it comes down to. North Korea doing something stupid. And then this article pops up. North Korea basically fired 2 nukes at New York City. So if you're going to read the book, I'm not going to tell you how, what went down. But that's how the book starts. So here we go. North Korea's $700 million crypto theft chest could fund nukes. Could fund nukes? What's $700 million crypto theft? That's how much they've made stealing money over the last couple of years? Despite the heavy international sanctions it is under, North Korea has continued its weapons of mass destruction program. Wait, hold up. Didn't Donald Trump take 2 trips to meet with Kim Jong-un? I thought he said that this was done with. Well, what's going on here? North Korea has continued its weapons of mass destruction programs undeterred, thanks to the sanctions circumvention tactics the Hermit Kingdom has developed. According to the Royal United Services Institute, one of the chief ways North Korea is financing its WMD program is through cryptocurrencies, which it has obtained mostly illegally. Currently, it estimated that North Korea may have amassed cryptocurrencies worth between $545 million and $735 million. You know what? This is going to be irony. The United States government officially has not come in and endorsed the entire crypto industry, right? Not like Russia has. In other words, officially, the United States is not stockpiling crypto like they would gold and precious metals that we know of. One thing is for certain, the United States government is also not stupid. They may not say something publicly, but I would not put it past that they're not involved in this big time. But anyways, publicly they're not. Whereas the little Hermit Kingdom has amassed almost $1 billion in crypto. Here's the irony. Let's say they hold, hodl. Every time I hear the word hodl, and I hate that, I think of hobbits, like hodling around. It is a Hermit Kingdom. They're hodling their crypto for 10 more years. Kim Jong-un should be in his mid-40s in 10 years from now, something like that. And that almost $1 billion worth of crypto is now worth almost $500 billion. Little North Korea becomes rich North Korea without having to even use US dollars. Do you see what I'm saying here? Iran is doing the same thing. Russia is doing the same thing. So you might think laugh at, oh, they only got 735 million worth. Yeah, at today's prices. What do you think that's going to be worth 5-10 years from now when Bitcoin's worth $200,000 a coin? Now you got a little Hermit Kingdom sitting on trillions of dollars. What are they going to use that money to do? Nukes? The Hermit Kingdom has been linked to various cybercrime activities, the most lucrative of which have been hacking cryptocurrency exchanges. Yeah, they've been all over South Korea. In what amounts to old news, the RUSI report says North Korea has been mostly targeting South Korean crypto exchanges. These exchanges include Yobit and BitHub. In some instances, North Korean cybercrime operatives have hacked the same South Korean crypto exchanges more than once. This is the case with BitHum and Ubit. The report further adds that the number of cybercrime operatives working for North Korea is in the thousands. I mean, this is their job description: steal money. The most prominent of these state-sponsored North Korea, they even got a college, a university, to teach them how to steal crypto. The most prominent of these state-sponsored North Korean cybercrime organizations is the Lazarus Group. In 2015, South Korean intelligence estimated that North Korea employs up to 6,000 cyber warfare experts, a number that has likely grown since then. Among these experts are the Lazarus Group, a group of hackers working under the 6th Technical Bureau within the North Korea's Reconnaissance General Bureau. This is state-sponsored. The Lazarus Group is often also referred to as Unit 180 or Bureau 121, although experts debate whether these are all indeed the same group. Why, oh why? Part of the reason why North Korea has made South Korean crypto exchanges its key target includes the fact that crypto is a rapidly growing sector in Asia's 4th largest economy. It is estimated that South Korea accounts for up to 16% of all the cryptocurrency trading in the world. South Korean exchanges are also considered highly vulnerable to cyber attack. According to RUSI, besides hacking exchanges, North Korea has also been involved in cryptojacking. Interestingly, the most prominent victim so far has been South Korean firms. In one reported case, cybercriminals linked to the Hermit Kingdom seized the firm's servers to mine Monero, managing to net around 70 XMR. The report by RUSI corroborates similar information by United Nations panel. Last month, the panel indicated that North Korea had amassed millions of dollars by stealing crypto. The bromance continues. Kim Jong-un wants a third summit with Trump. Why? What are we getting out of this? So far, we've gotten absolutely nothing. North Korea's efforts to circumvent international sanctions are, however, not surprising. Some of the regional players have consequently openly expressed frustration. Recently, Japan's foreign minister, Taro Kono, acknowledged to the Financial Times that the sanctions placed on North Korea are full of holes, which need sealing. RUSI's report coincides with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un showing a willingness to hold another meeting with the U.S. president. Last week, Kim told the North Korean parliament that he was open to holding a third summit with Donald Trump. This was on condition that the United States approaches us with the right manner. Trump welcomed the gesture while extolling the bond the two had formed as an asset. I agree with Kim Jong-un of North Korea. Oh, you know what? Just that statement right there. That irks me. Let me continue. I agree with Kim Jong-un of North Korea that our personal relationship remains very good. Perhaps the term excellent will be even more accurate. Why? This dude is a murderous dictator. A third summit would be good in that we fully understand where we each stand. North Korea has tremendous potential for extraordinary growth, economic success, and riches under the leadership of Chairman Kim. What? I agree with everything said except under the leadership of Chairman Kim. How about underneath the leadership of a democratic republic, not a dictator? Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? United States is supposed to be the beacon for democracy around the world, not dictatorships and authoritarian regimes. Why are we Brandon, you're talking about crypto. Calm down. Keep politics out of it. Let me finish. He says, I look forward to the day, which could be soon, when nuclear weapons and sanctions can be removed, and then watching North Korea become one of the most successful nations of the world. Well, I wish you could say the same thing about freaking Puerto Rico. Yeah, because he still thinks it's not. Let me stop. It is part of America. Anyways, the point of this article is that North Korea is using cryptocurrency to avoid sanctions. You think they're the only nation that's going to use crypto to avoid U.S. sanctions? That puts America at risk. That is not good for America because that eliminates one of our big sticks for worldwide domination. The other big stick we have is our military. We've got the biggest, baddest military this planet has ever seen. But that should always be a last resort. Diplomacy always comes first. And if you take away our means of using diplomacy, meaning if you don't do what we say, we're going to close your bank accounts, then that means we got to fall back on our military. And as American, I don't think we want to do that anymore. We're tired of that. But what also happens to the U.S. dollar if nations are no longer using it, nor are they threatened by it? When other nations no longer see the U.S. dollar as a necessity to survival. They say, yeah, World War II, that was 70 plus years ago. We're beyond that now. We don't need you anymore, United States. Thank you. You're saving our butts, but we don't need you no more. What do we do when these nations no longer want to buy our debt? And we're $21 trillion in debt and we got to pay the tab. What happens to our society? Can we think of Rome, the British Empire, even the Persian Empire that collapsed underneath debt? There's no world history. How did the major world powers did not crumble due to foreign invasion? They crumbled from within. Go out with a whimper. That's what's happening to us right now. So since we cannot control as an individual our country, we can control ourselves. Like Jim Rohn says, build a wall so high, a financial wall so high around you, building walls. Build a financial wall so high around your family, nothing can penetrate it. You cannot rely on the Democrats. You cannot rely on the Republicans to save you. Donald Trump's not going to save you. Nancy Pelosi is not going to save you. Whoever the next president of the United States, whoever it is not going to save you. But you can. All right, that's enough of my preaching for today. I hope you guys learned something new. As always, that is the point. There will not be a crypto talk. I guarantee not tomorrow morning. I'll be traveling. I'm going to Texas. I'll be back on Thursday. So I'm depending on, when I get back to the room, if I do crypto talk tomorrow or Wednesday, definitely maybe Thursday evening when I'll be back. I'll get back Thursday morning. Anyways, with that, hope you guys learned something new. Today is the 15th, as my bank account painfully reflects, is tax day. I mean, literally, like at 2 a.m., my account got deducted. You had to pay taxes. So get your taxes done. And I did it on the up and up. I reported my freaking crypto last year. I could have not done that. And stay on the up and up. Anyways, pay your taxes. You'll save yourself in the long run. Have a great day, everybody. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.